Welcome to a brand new season of TVGP's Critical Misses, a show where we are catching up on all the media hits we missed. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me, as always, is Moonpeer.
Hello.
Let's get my mic here in a better spot. There we go. Okay, so
It's one of those weeks.
it's really one of those weeks. Okay, so let's talk about what we're going to cover here for season 23 real quick, and then we're going to talk very quickly about season 24, and then we'll come back to this movie. So, season 23, I have an illness, and that illness is I need to see more DCEU movies.
So, out of curiosity, has this urge been driven by the new reset of the DCEU? Like, you want to catch the good stuff before it goes away kind of vibe?
No, I don't know what
Sorry.
it...
Good stuff.
That's
quote
right.
Unquote.
Yes, the good stuff. I don't know. It's just like, I feel like it's like every once in a while, you feel like just putting some bad food in you. You know, you're like, I just need...
I like Taco Bell too.
Right, like I feel good. I need to do something to harm myself, like eating too much Taco Bell for lunch and then suffering for the next couple of days. That's season 23. We've been doing so
Bell.
well. We've been sticking to our diet. Now we're gonna watch Aquaman.
Yes.
Yeah.
So do we want to talk about the is it 5 that we're doing this?
It's actually
6.
5. Yeah, 5 for this one. So we're gonna be watching Aquaman. Is our very first one here. Let me hold on. I'm trying to pull up the Wikipedia article for the DC Extended Universe. We have Aquaman, Shazam, Birds of Prey, which we'll talk about the full title of in that particular episode. Wonder Woman 1984, and we're finishing the season, of course, with a showstopper of Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Like, I don't know if my groan got picked up by the microphone there, but
No.
I groaned.
I thought this also included the other Suicide Squad, but that turns out that came out after Justice League. So maybe we'll cover it, maybe we'll shuffle some stuff around, but either way, it's got to end with Zack Snyder's Justice League, of course.
Did it, or was it the same year?
It was the same year, but it was like a couple months later. So tune in for episode 5, 6, something to figure out whatever we do.
Do we really want to like remove the icing from the cake here? Just have like
That's
some
literally what I was just thinking. Because the next 3 movies after that is just like, oh, we've got Black Adam and the second Shazam and the Flash. Oh boy.
And Blue Beetle. Don't forget Blue Beetle's in there too.
That's true. Blue Beetle is at the time of recording not yet in theaters.
Correct.
But impending. So yeah, it'll probably be 6 episodes here. We'll probably slip in Suicide Squad here at some point.
I think we do that at the end. It came out after Justice League. I think we do that at the end.
The balm for
as
our...
a palate cleanser.
Yeah, That's right. So 6 episodes we'll be doing here for this season. Yeah, but let's talk about something hopefully a little bit spicier. Let's talk about season 24.
Oh, no. I hate you. I almost swore at you the second you said that. I hate you so much.
That's right.
So, number 1, patreon.com/E1M1.
The ones are numbers.
Thank you. Go check out the production meetings. If you're not a patron member...
For season 23 especially.
Yes, we do production meetings basically after every single season, where we plot out the future, the next season, usually. This was an interesting case because of the timing-wise it works out. We basically plotted out the next 2 seasons.
Yeah, and we wanted to give a little bit of advance notice here because we're going to be covering Dune. And
yes,
we are going to be trying to do a mixed media season here. We're dipping our toes into the sands of Arrakis here to try and figure out... Nope, sorry. We're going to... It's going to be our first try at whether or not we'll do another another one of these, or if it will
Yes.
just be a scheduling and production nightmare. But we're going to be alternating the book and the movies here. So the first episode is going to be the first part of the book, followed
Yes.
by the first.
We should specify the first part of the first book. I know a lot of people
Yes, sorry.
have a good approach to the quote unquote Dune trilogy, which is Dune, Messiah, Children of Dune. We are only focused on Dune, just the first book.
Yep.
And basically, we're going to split it in two. There is two books included in the book, so it's book one, book two. Book two begins too early for where we're going to break it up.
Oh,
so
sure.
Essentially, book two is called Muad'Dib. We are going to go past the start of that. And the best way I can describe it without a significant spoiler is there is a very, very important fight scene or fight that happens with regards to Paul, and an actual one-on-one fight that he has.
Okay.
We are going to stop at the conclusion of that fight.
Okay. Can we say if you've hit Duncan, Idaho, you've gone too far?
No, Duncan, Idaho's in like the very beginning, dude.
Okay.
If you've hit Duncan, Idaho, he's in like page 7.
Perfect. I'm already excited. So once we hit that part, we're going to take a break from the book. We will go watch the first movie, the one that came out in
the recent first movie.
Sorry, the most recent first movie, the
2020, I think it was.
2020. Then we will go back to the book to finish that book, and then at that point we will watch the second part of the most recent movie, which should still be coming out this year.
Yes.
So
timing wise, it should be right around the time it hits theaters, or
perfect.
Just after home streaming.
Right. So we wanted to give a little bit of advance notice here, because you go get the book, take some time to read it. It's not a 200-page book, so it's going to take some time to read and ingest.
And if you do choose to do the audio version, there is an abridged version that's 40-something hours long. Well worth your time, to be completely honest.
So that's next season. We'll be covering Dune. Go get a copy of Dune however you want. Support your local library, support your local bookstores. Scoop one of those guys up. Get to the fight scene. Finish that fight scene. Close the book. We'll get to the rest of it later. So that's looking forward. We're going to look back here a little bit to Aquaman, released in 2018. Getting back on our DCEU sickness. I'm really interested in this one because I think before we watched the previous DCEU movies, which, let's take another tangent here. If you haven't listened to that season, I highly recommend listening to those. I'm not entirely sure I would recommend watching the movies. That's not really a requirement.
Hey, watch Wonder Woman.
You should watch Wonder Woman. Yeah. You should probably not watch Suicide Squad. that was
BVS.
Yeah, I Suicide Squad would probably not be a recommendation. The others were, they were fine, and Wonder Woman is
Man
really
of Steel is a good film. Man of Steel is a genuinely good film.
I think that's a good one too. Yeah, but we're gonna be, this season we'll be building on top of a lot of the stuff we talked about there. I think before we watched the previous couple of DCEU movies, I wasn't entirely sure I would be interested in an Aquaman movie, but I think how Jason Momoa was portraying Aquaman in the previous movies, I'm sort of like, all right, where are we gonna go with this?
A slab of beef with attitude.
Yeah, like I like that he had this attitude, especially towards Bruce Wayne. Was just like, what do you want, man? I don't want you here. I know who you are, and I don't care. But like, go away. I'm gonna dive in the ocean, splash. Because I feel like Aquaman, as someone who never really read a ton of DC growing up, I feel like Aquaman was always the butt of the joke. where it's always
Yes,
like,
100%. That was going to be my question: is what do you know about Aquaman? Because oh boy, thanks Seth MacFarlane and co for making him the laughing stock of everything. Also, thank you. Oh, the Joker from Mass Effect, his stuff, the robot chicken stuff. They also make Aquaman the
that's
butt of the
true.
joke too.
Yeah, because I think they distill him down into he talks to fish, and that's kind of lame.
Uh-huh.
And that might be everything I know about Aquaman.
Yeah, pretty much. I know he's a hybrid. That much I know. He's half. Um, is it? The question is it? Isn't Atlantis? Is this?
Atlantean.
Yeah, I think he's half Atlantean and half human, I
Okay.
believe. Um, I know Jason Momoa plays him. I know
Right.
he is genuinely, like you said, the laughing stock of things. Did you ever watch Smallville?
A couple episodes, but nothing enough to really say I
So
watched it.
Aquaman is pretty good in Smallville. Like they do a
Okay.
decent enough job of bringing him in. Do you know who plays him
No.
in Smallville? Alan Richson, aka Jack Reacher from the Amazon Prime Reacher TV show,
Wow. Okay.
um,
Interesting.
who is another giant meat man, by the way,
Right.
now at least.
You got to be strong to
And
swim underwater, I guess.
yeah, and I honestly thought that his portrayal in the Smallville was actually really, really good. They never call him Aquaman. They call him by his human name. But the
Fish
hilarious
bro.
part of it is, yes, Fish Bro. The hilarious part is he wears like green tights and an orange hoodie. Like
That's
he
great.
wears like green wetsuit bottoms and then like an orange hoodie is his
It's pretty
go-to
good.
outfit in the show. And it's like, okay, you
Yeah.
get it. Smallville is genuinely one of the best shows and underappreciated for its time. Boston.
I wonder if you're gonna ask the same question I'm gonna ask.
Do you know who directs this movie?
Okay, that's not the question I was gonna ask, but no, I don't know who directs this movie.
James Wan, who is famous for doing a lot of Saw movies, a lot of Conjuring movies,
Okay, that was not
a
the.
lot of Insidious movies.
That's wild. That is certainly not the director I would have expected.
He is basically responsible for almost all of the modern day horror franchises, essentially.
Interesting.
And Furious 7, by the by.
Okay. I don't. Did we like 7? I don't remember.
7 is Jason Statham. 7 is Paul.
Okay, I like 7.
Paul Walker's last movie. So
Yeah,
yes,
I like 7.
we liked 7.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay,
Uh-huh.
Okay. Aquaman traps someone inside a puzzle box, and they gotta dig a key out of their stomach to get out. DCEU. Um, my big question though here is the big question with nearly every comic book movie is this a origin story? Are we going to get the
Oh, it has to be, dude.
young Aquaman learning how to swim and talk to fish for the first time? Or is it going to be like, hey, did you see the previous ones? He talks to fish. Whatever. He's angry at Batman.
Arthur Curry, that's his name, by the way.
Arthur Curry. Okay. That's a pretty good
Which
name.
is a hilarious name.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, it has to be an origin story, right? Like, it has to be.
I feel like you need to at least explain
Who he is?
and like what he does, because right now it's sort of like, yeah, he swims, sometimes he has a trident, and I don't know, he talked to some lady in one of the previous movies. She's probably something underwater Atlantis.
Was that like a post-credit scene?
I think he was in like the middle of one of the movies where he's like, yeah, whatever, Batman flip him off, and he like jumps into the ocean, and he's like, anyways, here's this underwater lady, and we're like, wait, what are we doing? What's happening here? Huh? Batman was just like hacking a server? What are we doing underwater here?
Yeah, who knows anymore?
Yeah. I feel like you're right though. They probably have to address
It has to be the origin story.
what he can do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because all you know from him so far because this technically was released after Justice League, so literally all we know about him from Justice League is he can walk into the middle of the ocean while drinking a bottle of vodka or whatever it was.
That's true. That was a good scene.
It was,
Yeah.
and it was slow-mo in the best way, which is
that sold me on him playing this character. Where it's like, all right, you're having a little bit of fun with it. I like that.
100%. I think he does great when he's having fun with stuff. Which, speaking of which, you really should watch the new Fast and the Furious movie. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I don't CG nightmare. I mean, it's got to be a CG nightmare.
It has to be. Yeah, there's no
mostly underwater.
Yeah, there's no way that they did a ton. It'd be nice if they did some underwater filming, but I don't. I expect them to do a lot of like standing around underwater in front of a green screen talking to people. I don't see a lot of other stuff happening.
So you have stated before that you do not like day to night shots.
Yeah, like where they shoot it during the day and they're like, "Here's a blue filter," and I'm like, "Ugh, I can tell."
Yeah, which makes me nervous, by the way, because one of my favorite movies has a day to night sequence.
Oh, okay.
We'll get there when we get there, eventually. What about wet for dry? Do you think we can do wet for dry BS here, like they did in Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, I think that stuff bothers me less. And also, like, to clarify the like day for night shooting thing, I care about that a lot less in something like a TV show where there's smaller budgets and faster shooting time frames and things like that. In movies, it bothers me more where it's like, just shoot at night, man. I know it's not that easy where it's just like, oh, just like hack the Matrix, whatever. But it frustrates me.
Okay.
Yeah, go on.
Do we get any flex moments? Because one of my favorite Aquaman moments from the comics is in Injustice when he confronts Superman about Superman being a big fascist dictator. And he's like, yo, dude, you think you're all powerful? Don't you dare mess with Atlantis. And all of the deep sea monsters come out of the ocean and threaten Superman, basically.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see who the bad guy is, because I don't, with not knowing really anything about Aquaman, I don't know who the bad guy would be, and I don't think we've seen any hints of it through the movies that were right before this, so I'm not entirely sure. And I think most of those movies, the villain was resolved in one way or another, so it's not like, oh, we sent him down to Atlantis and now that's Aquaman's problem. I'm not sure who would be the bad guy here.
Honestly, I don't know. I know there's a whole bunch of underwater people, but I wouldn't be able to know them. My big thing here is how many Aquaman knowledge drops are they going to put in for like huge fans of the comics?
Yeah, all the wink and nod comic references.
The ones that I'm not going to get at all.
I feel like this
character is here.
Yeah, like I feel like of any of them, I feel like this is probably the one that's going to have the most that go over my head. Because I feel like most people know enough about Superman, they know enough about Batman, but Aquaman, I don't. There's one dude in the theater being like, she's here, yeah!
Okay, smarty pants. Let's test that knowledge.
Oh, here we go.
Name 3 very powerful Superman villains.
Oh God. Mr. Mixplick, one of them.
Is that a Superman villain? Really? No,
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
No, you just said it because you love his name. Move on. Next.
No,
actual Superman villains.
I read so many of his comics that he was a bad guy in, and when I was a kid. Nope, already failed.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna
Bizarro, number
name
one,
like I'm not
which
gonna
is
name
just
like
Superman.
Doomsday or anything, because that's like the dude who killed Superman. Like,
Well, yeah.
yeah,
And
we all had that comic growing up.
General Zod,
Okay, yeah, that's true. I already forgot. Was it
Bizarro, who
Michael
is
Shannon played him in the
yes,
movie?
I
Yeah.
believe so. Yes. Who apparently no, it's in the trailer, so yeah, I'm going to spoil it. He's in the Flash movie, just so you know.
I saw that in the trailer and I was like, you know what? Sure. Why not? It's a comic
And
book movie. Bring him back. Great.
he hated it because it didn't give him
Great.
a chance to test his acting abilities. He was just like, it's the same guy. Like,
Right.
I want to do
I'm
something
back
different.
again for this dude.
Uh-huh.
Put me in the rubber suit.
Bizarro, Superman.
Yeah, the Bizarro's a good one.
Yo. And Brainiac, like one of the best Superman villains.
That's true. Also, I like that we're talking about Superman villains instead of the movie.
Because I wanted to test your casually thrown out, oh, everybody knows Superman villains, says the guy who doesn't know Superman villains.
Yeah, the best Superman villains like Catwoman and Joker. Yep, all of them. Yep.
Uh-huh. Also, the hilarious thing is neither of us named Lex Luthor. I'm just saying.
That's true. I don't know. I've always been Lex Luthor's always been like a little confusing for me. Isn't it like which version of Lex are you gonna get? Like the getting his hands dirty one or the hired goons one? So
Yes.
I don't know.
Lex in a robot suit or Lex with a phone?
Right. Like Lex with a group of supervillains, that sort of thing. Probably a character that won't be showing up in this movie is Lex Luthor.
More than likely not. So I honestly don't know any. I
really
know
hope
any
it's not
Aquaman
like
villains.
a Kraken or something. Like, I don't want him to fight a Kraken or a giant octopus or something in the third act. Like, I really don't. Does he fight Davy Jones?
Oh, dude, I'm sure Davy Jones is a villain for Aquaman.
Probably. Have you seen this movie, by the way? We should have started with that.
No.
Okay. So neither of us have seen this one.
Uh-huh.
Deathly curious about all six of these movies. Just deathly curious.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, on that note, let's go figure out who the villain is in this movie, and let's go watch it.
Yep.
Okay, we're back. I have to apologize in advance for having us watch these movies. I thought I would come in front of a jury of my peers and say, I'm sorry. That was mea culpa.
I think regret has never been done this quickly, dude.
I just want to apologize for Aquaman. Aquaman's getting canceled for quality control. God.
So did you forget about the entire first season of the DCEU?
Apparently, yeah, like a post birth thing where it's like, oh, that wasn't so bad, and the second time around you're like, nope, yep, that was bad, yep.
What's a big DC villain? I don't. Well, who's the biggest DC villain? Oh, I got it. Perfect, because he's a general.
Sure.
We can call it Zod syndrome, like Stockholm syndrome, except it's
General
Zod syndrome.
I like it. Yep. We're here. We're here with Aquaman. Yep. Sure thing. I do.
What, dude?
So, I actually do like the opening of this movie because I thought the opening of this movie was going to be the aquarium scene. With like, oh, here's Arthur Curry talking to the fish.
To the animals. Yes.
Right, and I kind of like that the origin story of the beginning of this movie is Arthur's dad falling in love with CG Nicole Kidman.
It's so good.
Yeah, like...
And also the fact that his dad is Tamora Morrison,
yes.
who is a vastly underappreciated actor. Also, credit where it's due, requested by Jason Momoa to be
Wow,
his
nice.
dad.
Oh, okay. That's pretty nice.
So that's a Hawaiian giving props to a Polynesian, I believe.
Right. So I kind of like that there was the framing of the movie is this love story between the two of them.
Uh-huh.
It we see nearly immediately my favorite thing in this movie, which turns out to be, oh, it's such a nice scene, or someone is handing something to someone else, or oh, they
And
might
someone
kiss.
crashes through a wall.
Yeah, something blows through a wall, or something next to them explodes, and it's just like, oh, it's a lovely family scene. Boosha! And like just
Yep. It's
future.
the James Wan effect, dude. He's a horror director extraordinaire,
Yeah,
and he's been involved in the Fast franchise, so you know he's used to things breaking through walls.
That's right. Gotta get the family back together. I drove my Dodge Charger through your wall. Let's get back to the ocean.
Literally, what this movie is about is getting the family back together, dude.
That's right. Hashtag family. I do kind of like the scene with Arthur in the aquarium. I think
Yes.
it's just short enough for you to be like, oh yeah, right. He talks to fish. Cool. And
He talks to the fishies.
The shark banging on the glass. And it's like, all right, that's enough. A minute or two, we're good.
Yeah, maybe, don't set the fishies on the bullies kind of situation.
That's right. Famous saying, don't set the fishies on the bullies.
Damn right.
Yeah. I like...
He's still a drunk, by the way, which we totally forgot to mention, is Aquaman is still a booze hound.
Right, which I like. I think that's pretty... It's a pretty good touch.
It's good character continuity from his appearance in Justice League.
Him meeting Batman, yeah.
Yes.
I kind of like this intro here of him busting through this sub.
By the way, all young versions of him are incredible, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
Really appropriately cast, really decently performed, impressively so for teenage him, young, old, 20-something him, whatever it is.
That's right.
All really well cast. And then, the submarine scene is...
Yeah. I kind of like... I will say it honestly here, I don't like the villain, Black Manta.
Which one? King Orm or Black Manta, because they both have problems.
Sorry, let's call him by the dumbest title, Ocean Master. Thank you very much.
He never got voted Ocean Master, thank you very much.
I know, but the words...
That was stopped.
The words together, Ocean Master, is just...
it's gold, dude.
Some real comic book stupidity.
That is like open water gold.
That's right. So, like, I don't like Black Manta. I like his dad, because I think his dad chews the scene appropriately. He kind of... I feel like he kind of gets it. But I don't really like Black Manta himself, but I do like the almost sleepy way that Arthur kind of motors his way through a bunch of these dudes on the sub of just like,
because he just doesn't care. He Wonder Woman's it.
Right. He's just like, you're not going to hurt me. Like, what? I'm just going to take my time here, man. I'm going to throw a bunch of stuff at you. I'm going to hit you with a door. I'm going to do some fun stuff.
I
think that works pretty well for kind of an intro too. Like, if you didn't see Justice League, I think it's kind of a fun intro of just like, hey, like, he's pretty much invulnerable, so why is he going to hurry?
Yeah, it is. I do think it's a good reintroduction, especially to his powers.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that this is also a scene that gets brought up later with the guy who's determined to have everyone admit that there is an Atlantean around.
Yeah, the
conspiracy theorist,
Dr. Shin.
Who is also secretly the FBI guy from the Marvel universe, which is hilarious to me.
Yes, I like that actor a lot. I never remember his name. He's very good in... Randall Park. There he is. I like him in a lot of stuff I've seen him in. He toes that line really well of just kind of like bumbling,
Goofy and
funny.
comedy.
Yeah. I
we need to talk about the stacked cast for
yeah.
the Atlanteans, because this is where we get the scene with the current king, King Orm, played by Patrick Wilson.
Right. Who's a face I have seen in stuff, but it's not one of those. It's not one of those actors like pretty much the rest of the cast where I'm like, they're in here. He is in here. Yeah, let's go.
For those of you who like me prefer the movie, he is Night Owl in Watchmen.
Right.
That is his probably most famous part before this, would be my guess.
When I saw that, I was just like, yeah, right, got him. That's the one. I recognized him from something else, but I don't entirely remember what he was in as well.
We have also been getting like the flashbacks and flash forwards to Arthur's childhood.
Right.
Patrick, whatever his name is, by the way, Wilson. He's in a lot of the Insidious movies. That might be why you know him too.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've probably seen enough clips.
But everybody else.
The royal you. Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, William Dafoe is William Defriend.
I like when CG Willem Dafoe popped up on screen. I was just like, "Oh, it's a Willem Dafoe joint, huh? All right, he's gonna be in this one. Cool. I'm
Have
something
you
of a
seen the new
scientist
Spider-Man
myself."
movie, not the animated one, the
Yes,
live-action one,
the most recent one. Yep.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Marvel do better with the de-aging, I think.
Yes, I would agree. I would agree with that. You want to talk about a movie that like shoots for the moon with some CG effects and often doesn't make it happen? That is Aquaman.
Yes. The weird thing is, like, all of the underwater stuff I feel plays right.
Yeah, like it looks good enough to be like, yeah, that's pretty good. The hair looks okay. The face is. It helps because there's always that like watery effect.
The water filter. Yes.
Yeah, so like you can erase a bunch of stuff there. I never. The underwater voice effect never really grew on me.
I hated it.
Yeah.
So I also needed subtitles for a majority of this movie because of that issue.
A lot of like.
Yes. We also should mention Dolph Lundgren is another one of the kings of Atlanta.
Bro, Dolph Lundgren with whatever beard is going on is like...
Yes. With his fake beard and his fake wig and his really weird everything going on. It's like,
his Dolph Lundgren-ness.
Yeah. It's weird, dude.
Yeah, I think this is also, I think, the part where we start... The movie leans so heavily on it of just like, Arthur, I'm so sorry. Your mom said no to this arranged marriage, so they just exiled her down into the scary place with all the beasts, and she's dead. Don't worry about it. Definitely dead, though.
No. She didn't say no to the marriage, dude. She got waylaid on land for a while, then went back to take part in the arranged marriage, gave birth to another son, and then they found out about Arthur, and that's when they threw her into the trench.
That's true. But I like that the movie is like, don't worry, definitely dead. 100% for sure. Nothing survives, especially, don't even worry, totally dead.
I'm assuming, like me, you were waiting for the reveal.
Yeah, and I'm like, bro, she's alive. Like what do you... you can't...
You don't get Nicole Kidman for 5 minutes at the start of the movie.
Right, and like, you especially don't say it 200 times and just be like, she's 100% dead. Like, no one has been more dead than this lady. And it's like, yeah, man, she's alive. Like, what are you talking about here? Just hanging out with someone voiced by somebody famous we'll talk about later.
Yep. By the way, did you immediately get the click that the submarine was a false flag operation?
No, I didn't.
As soon as that submarine showed up, I was like, come on, this is clearly a sub that Manta has stolen, and he's using it to provoke the war.
Right.
And it's just like... I was just like, really? We're going to go from a dude trying to kidnap a submarine to a submarine getting used to start this war. No
Right.
way. This is too convenient, we'll say. I do like the fact that he gets paid in Pirates Gold.
Right. This whole thing, I never really bought this whole thing of we're gonna go take the fight to the land before they continue to take the fight to us.
So the taking the fight to the land part is like whatever. Like
there has to be a conflict.
Yes, it's the land has done so much to us already part that I was like, yes, we have. I agree.
Right.
That is a good reason.
You bring up a fair point. You're right.
And I like the fact that the first strike is literally all of the warships and all of the trash getting dumped straight back on land.
I really wish that scene was a little bit better, though, because...
Better explained.
You get this, like, a big scene ends, and then Arthur and his dad are driving back in his, like, his beat-up pickup, and then it seems like one of those touching scenes where it's like Arthur's gonna figure out how he's gonna protect his dad, how he's gonna keep his dad safe from this impending war. What is this in my rearview mirror? A tsunami.
Yes.
With warships. And it's like, that happened a little bit too quickly.
It felt like it was directed at Arthur, not a generalized attack.
Yeah, exactly.
At this point as well, we've been introduced to Princess Mira, which is... like, I will say, across the board in this, I felt like 99.9% of the performances were flat as hell.
Yeah.
Jason Momoa is pretty good. Amber Heard is pretty good in it too.
Both of them get like a couple scenes here and there where you can tell that they're finally having fun.
Yes.
And then they just go back to like...
Yes, 100%. And it's just like, okay, like, you guys get a little something something, but everybody else is just like cliche, tropish, rote as hell.
Willem Dafoe is like only there for his voice and to be like, yes, my liege, I'm definitely not conspiring against you. Anyways, bye.
He's the vizier who is the traitor, but instead of being a traitor for the bad guys, he's a traitor for the good guys for once.
Right. Like, it's fun, and like Dolph Lundgren is largely wasted.
He's whatever. Yes.
Yeah, like he can put out a good performance, but like Amber Heard, I don't really think I've seen her in anything before this, and I think she does a pretty good job with a script that is, it like can't figure out what to do with her. Like, is she going to be this like headstrong hero that's fighting to save the day before Arthur does, or is she going to be kind of staying in the back and being a princess that's not getting in the middle of stuff?
Yeah.
I don't know. One of my favorite lines, though, speaking of her, I did like...
Is this the smelly line?
No, it was the where they're in the plane over the desert, and Arthur's just like, redheads, gotta love them, and just like jumps out of the plane. Like,
after the pilot's like, wait, she jumped out of the plane. She didn't have a parachute.
That's right.
Like, redheads,
gotta
love them,
gotta love them. And just like that, like that's the thing that I want to see Jason Momoa delivering this whole movie, rather than the majority of his performance, which I thought was kind of, like you said, like kind of flat.
Yeah, I did like enemies on our 6. What does that mean? It means bad guys behind us.
Right.
Well, why don't you just say that then? Bad guys behind us, bad guys behind us.
Yep. You had some pretty good stuff there. I actually do, speaking of that, I really enjoyed a lot of the Atlantean design, like of the city and the ships and the stuff, and I like the explanation we get.
Don't worry, Boston. We have diplomatic immunity. We can talk about this at will.
That's right. That's right. I do like the kind of, you get that flashback at some point of the downfall of Atlantis, where they had this vastly superior technology that sort of led to their downfall. And I like that extends to the people of Atlantis now having this very advanced civilization that kind of looks Tron cool down there. And it's like, yeah, all right, like
Yes.
you kind of sell it pretty well. I like that.
I do also like the fact that they talk at the start about how only people of royal bloodline can breathe air and the water, which explains why all the soldiers have the water masks.
I couldn't figure out if I thought that was cool or cheesy, that the like
it's both, dude.
the water in the suits, and then like the mask cracks and they're like gulping for air. It's like, that's kind of cool.
It's both, and you know it's both because one guy has to breathe through a toilet later.
Right, which is bad in a way that I can respect from like an 80s action movie standpoint.
Yes.
Like
you could that by the way is the entire sequence. We kind of jumping all over the place here, but who cares? That is the entire sequence movie as well. It is. It goes for a while.
Yeah.
That is the clearly ripped off from Fast Five favela scene where you have the running across the top and the one dude running through the walls, rock style, to continue the fight.
It's a pretty okay fight. Like, we unfortunately have to see Black Mamba's bug-eyed...
Manta, dude. It's a Manta Ray.
Sorry. I keep thinking of Black Mamba. Have been thinking about Kill Bill for a while.
You said that, I think of Luke Cage, by the way.
Oh, there we go. But, like, Black Mamba's...
Manta!
Black Manta. I'll get it right, never. His blisteringly stupid looking outfit when he shows back on the scene.
Good. It's so good in how terrible it is. I want to clarify.
It's one of those where it's like, I bet this is accurate to the comics.
It is. I looked. It's real accurate to the comics.
But you gotta do something different on screen. Like,
dude, how about the fact that the secondary villain gets an Iron Man scene?
Wait.
What? Black Manta gets the prototype suit from King Orm, and then he gets an entire Iron Man scene where he's taking this thing apart.
Yeah, like
building it,
refitting
for
it.
Spec.
That was an okay scene. I thought that was actually pretty good, where it's like, you know...
They literally only put that scene in so they could deliver the line, I'm going to need a bigger helmet. Which is A, Jaws reference, and B, an excuse to use the actual helmet.
Right. Man. And it's also an excuse to, like, show off that knife again, where it's like, yeah, my dad's knife. That's me. Not Black Mamba, Black Manta. That guy. It's just like, okay, I get it. Like, you're not... Why are you still here, by the way?
It is a fish, not a snake or a dance.
That's right. That's right. I thought that fight scene, that whole action scene, I thought was pretty good. I kind of like the like national treasure thing of, well, we have this bottle,
this is the best part of this entire movie, is like the flying around the world doing the Indiana Jones dotted line across the map, like, kind of
show
thing.
me more of that movie, man. Like, you're putting it in a statue's hand and looking through the skull of the statue, and it shows the stuff. I'm like, yeah, man, that's cool. I like it. Where's Nicolas Cage? Get him
a message in a bottle, by the way.
100%. It's cool. And then as soon as he figures it out, something blows up right next to him, and they go, "Oh no, Black Manta's here." So, I will admit a weakness of mine. I do like seeing strong people uppercut people into the roof. Putting that out there, still cool.
This is why you like the Fast and Furious movies. I get
100%.
it. 100% get it.
Yeah.
I will say that probably my favorite sequence in this entire movie, well, favorite scene, I don't know about sequence, but my favorite scene is when they're on the boat heading to the bearing they got from the bottle, and they arrive above the trench, and that whole sequence with the nasty mermen, whatever they're called from World of Warcraft.
Oh, like the Murlocs.
There you go. That's the word I was looking for.
Yep, they're 100% Murlocs.
But I sure know the sound.
That's great. Oh, that's so good.
That whole scene with the flare going down,
and it's so cool.
The dive down, is such beautiful, like cinematography of them going down and this unimaginable swarm around them, avoiding the light. It's such a good sequence.
It's
the fact
really
that he
cool.
pulls out another one and uses another one, and then another one and uses another one. It's
right.
a fantastic sequence.
It's really good.
And then, minor spoiler alert, his mom is alive.
It's one of those things where she comes out, and I was like, yeah, okay. We're finally doing this. Sure. You kind of promoted that the whole time. And then I thought we were going to get the scene. If you remember back for the first part of this episode, I said, boy, I hope he doesn't fight a Kraken.
Yes.
Whoops. Fight a...
Hey, I specifically requested like giant Cthulhu-like monsters. I 100% requested that.
You're happy with this movie then?
Oh boy, did I get one of them.
Did you see who voiced the Kraken, though?
I didn't know. Who was it? You said someone famous.
Julie Andrews. You know, from The Sound of Music.
Seriously?
Uh-huh. Yep, just...
Okay.
Yep,
Mary Poppins is a giant Kraken?
Oh, yep. 100%.
Oh, well, I say Kraken, but it's an octopus, squid, sea urchin, seahorse looking thing is what it's revealed to be, but okay.
Yeah, why not get Julie Andrews in there to
Sure.
Yeah.
Why not? I do like this sequence though, because he talks,
just about to say that.
It's the talking reveal where clearly this is a monster that's used to killing everybody, saying what it needs to say, and then just going smoosh and people dying.
Now, another person that can't understand me, yump.
Yeah, and then he literally understands and responds to it. I was like, wait, what? You can
pardon?
You can understand me?
Right.
Are you talking to me?
That's right. I do kind of like the scene, especially because you don't see the Kraken until way later, when it's an even better reveal. You just see a bunch of the tentacles and like shadows and stuff. I think that's a really good. It's a really good effect.
Yeah, I like the fact that it's literally just tentacles. That's all you see in that whole sequence. And then he gets the sword and the trident. And I really like that design of his armor. When he gets his armor from the trident, it's really good, dude.
It's pretty good. Like, he comes out from that waterfall, and I'm just like, all right. Like, you sold this outfit. Like, it's not. It's just
it's not latex. It's scales, and it changes color depending on the light that he's in. But primarily, it is the Aquaman yellow and green.
Right, because like
suits.
It's always been that yellow and green that's just sort of been a little boring, and somehow they just managed to like zhuzh it up enough to be like, it's still his outfit, but it's cool.
It's because they give it texture. It's the first time I've ever seen that outfit with texture, and making it the scales makes perfect sense because it's an underwater armor type of thing. But then, like I said, it's not always just that solid yellow and green. Like the shade of it seems to change depending on what light he is in. And like when you see him like underwater, like his pants are more black in like shadow, and it's more of a white top, but then when he gets in the light, it's more yellow and green. It's a really good effect. Like,
it really is.
The armor genuinely looks cool.
Is this after we have the like one-on-one showdown with his half brother?
That's he gets the armor, then we get the reveal of, we've already missed the fact that King Orm has killed one of the kings and threatened the princess into joining his army.
Right.
Then they go he's trying to gather the 7 kingdoms or whatever the hell it is he's doing. So
it's
he can be named
seven.
What's he going to be
so
named?
He can be
again?
Ocean Master. By collecting, the leaders of all the 7 seas.
Yes. So he's going. We catch him right as he's about to get to the final one, I believe, or the final one he needs.
Right.
Because the Trencher monsters and whatever, and so on and so forth.
There's like 4 of them he needs or something.
Deserter tribe are all dead. The deserter tribe, who happen to now be in the Sahara Desert. By the way,
pretty good. I like. If you're leaning into that one, lean all the way into it.
Yes, which they did, and that's whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, we catch him when he's about to go after the crab people at the Brine Kingdom.
Yes.
Did you catch who voiced the king immediately?
Oh no, I don't think I did.
Known Rongan, John Rhys Davis. It still only counts as one.
Oh, I didn't know he was a wrong-in. Bummer.
You should check out the appearance he made on British national television, where he referred to an MP as "woman, you will shut up and listen to me."
Oh no! Oh no! Jonathan Rhys Davies, no!
It is cringe to the extreme to see him be as ridiculously and overtly sexist as he can possibly be.
Yikes.
Yes.
Okay. The Brine Kingdom.
Yes, the Brine Kingdom. Full of crabs and shrimps and everything else.
It's really
good. I do
good.
like the fact that we did get a seahorse mount in this scene, along with all the shark mounts and everything else.
Shark mounts, seahorse mounts, those are all real good.
But yes, this is where they're in the middle of fighting,
Mm-hmm.
and then the ground explodes.
I actually really liked this. Like, this eldritch horror coming out of the seabed to just turn the tide of this battle was real good.
I was 100% expecting it to be like a giant crab that the king had summoned. And be like a crab that was buried under the ground, and then the Brine King's got like this super secret weapon.
Crab on a crab.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. It turns out it was Aquaman.
Julie Andrews' true form.
Yes. So I also got that wish. That was the the kaiju underwater monster wish.
That's true. That's true. It's also so good seeing like 300 ships and a whole bunch of laser sharks and all these other things firing on this Kraken, and she's just like, "Yeah, man, cool, nice try, thanks."
Cool. Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
Anyways, gonna kill you all. Yeah, I thought this was actually a pretty good battle scene for as much stuff as is going on. It felt pretty readable.
Than the usual CG nightmare. Like, it was definitely better along that front.
Yeah, because usually it's just like a smeary mess of like 400 units, but it felt pretty good.
Go check out the last fight in Wonder Woman if you want a great example of an incredible movie with a horrendous last fight.
That's right. That was rough. Man, what a good movie with just like the roughest apex to that film.
But yeah, they do the whole underwater fight, then it's like, okay, now I have the spear. Now I'm going to fight King Orm again after the Ring of Fire fight, which we skipped over, which is fine, but I had to mention Ring of Fire.
Yeah. It was, at least we got a little bit of like fun escape stuff out of that, but that fight was,
it was
could have been cooler, but it was fine.
Yes. And then Princess Mira says to him, "Hey, you fought on his ground last time. Force him to fight in your environment."
Right.
So they fight on top of the broken ship that the giant Kraken destroyed.
With the dangerous fan blades at the back of the ship a-spinning.
Yup. It is an okay fight.
It's fine.
Nothing special.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that they reference the super secret ability that Volko taught was
this like spinning trident thing. Yep.
Yes. That's a nice little reference back to the start, especially when you see Volko's face going, "I never taught him how to do that, and now he's doing it. Why? How?"
He can see the Matrix.
And spoiler alert, he wins. And he doesn't kill his brother.
Right.
And his mother agrees with him, and his brother is taken away in chains. Yep. I do like the conversation when he's like, "Yeah, when I found out I had a little brother, I was thrilled. I couldn't wait to meet you and talk to you and find out who knew what a D-bag you'd grow up to be, but
Right.
Well, I like the fact that as he's getting led away, Arthur says to him, "When you're ready, let's talk."
Right. It shows him being in a real way, like being the bigger person about it. like trying to reinforce
it's
the
a
thing
nice
about
little
him.
line. He's not rubbing it in his face. He's not going like, "You suck, I win."
Well, and the movie keeps like trying to, and I think largely successfully trying to reinforce that you can look at this guy who is in line to be the king already. That's kind of a baby child. And you can look at Arthur, who doesn't want to take the throne, but everything he's doing is like a kingly action or a thing a king should do, including this kind of like cherry on top of like, I'm not going to kill my brother, and I'm going to talk to him later. Like, I'm not going to send him, like, get in the trench, buddy. You know, like, we're not going to do that anymore. Let's hash it out.
Well, we now know it's not effective. So
That's right.
Why would you do something that's not effective anymore?
That's right.
Clearly, people can get thrown in the trench and live.
Yeah.
All
Nicole
they need is a
Kidman's
few
fine.
flares.
Yeah, that's right. And then we get the last thing here is we get the cool, like, there's the thing going through the movie where Arthur's dad every morning goes to the dock to wait for Nicole Kidman, and she shows up this time. Yay, romance.
Genuinely heartwarming.
It's a good scene.
Talking about that. When Arthur talks about that with his mom, and she's like, "Tell me about your dad. How's he doing? Is he ?" Because she doesn't know if he's alive or not.
Right.
And he's like, "Yeah, he's still the same guy. Like, he goes to that dock every single morning."
Yep.
And like, that is a genuinely heartwarming moment.
Yep.
I forgot that Nicole Kidman eats his fish, but we'll
That's right.
at the very beginning of the movie.
That's right. That's right.
Which is a solid moment.
Yep.
Also, she throws her trident at the television, which is showing Stingray, which, for those of you who don't know, is a puppet show from the UK, from the same studio that brought you things like Thunderbirds and Captain Scarlet. Yep. Specifically about an underwater team who I think the bad guy in that is also called Manta, just so you know.
Great. Getting all the deep cuts here.
Yes.
Yeah.
But no, it's a nice little bow on the end, and the post-credit scene is very whatever.
Yeah, it's very much like, I like seeing Randall Park in this movie again, but the idea of like him helping out Black Manta is just whatever.
It's very whatever.
Yeah, who really cares? Let's do our ratings here. Over on Rotten Tomatoes, 65% on the Tomato Meter, 72% audience score. IMDb has 6.8 out of 10 for 500,000 ratings, and Letterboxd has this at 2.8 out of 5 for 310 ratings. So, I mean, yeah,
a 5 and a 6 is about right, I think.
Yeah,
mid to high 6s, like depending on how you're feeling at any given moment.
I think my problem with this movie is, number one, it's way longer than it needs to be.
Yeah, about an hour too long.
Yeah, and it's fine, but you can really see the kind of movie that you wanted it to be shining through every once in a while, especially with Jason Momoa and Amber Heard, just kind of every once in a while having fun with it. And
yes,
I wanted that to be the whole thing.
Dude, the eating the flowers scene, like the stranger in a strange land, like eating the flowers is so good.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
She gives him crap at the fact that he references Pinocchio. And she's like, you based something off a kid's book?
Right.
And he's like, oh, what book? It's a book? I just did it from the movie.
Yeah, it's like, I've only seen the movie. And it's like, perfect. Thank you. That's excellent. Yeah. I was really worried about that scene because I thought that was going to be the part where her character like turns against Arthur and sort of being like, well, I can't trust you at all because you based it. And she's like, look at this dummy. Look at this big old himbo. This like ocean himbo. Yeah, whatever. Let's go save the world. Who cares? Yeah. I think it's fine. And I think it's certainly not the worst DCEU movie we have seen.
What do you give that to still? I'd like to know. That's
Suicide Squad. Hands down. That movie is it was rough. That was a rough thing. But I think more than I think when you hear people talk about the DCEU stuff, they're like this.
It's the potential.
Well, I think so many people talk about it as if it's like irredeemable trash. And it's really not. They're fine movies. I think it's easy to compare them to the heyday of the MCU and sort of saying like, look, here's the blueprint that you should probably just copy. And we don't get that.
The problem is they copied it, but they copied it in a very rushed manner. Like,
right.
If you think about the amount of time between Incredible Hulk and the first Avengers movie, it was like 7 years or something like that. And the first DCEU season we did covered what, like 3 or 4 years total, like one a year. Like
it's pretty fast, yeah.
3 to Justice League,
yeah,
because Suicide Squad doesn't count really for that,
right?
Whereas this one, we're talking about, again, look at this season. This season is
6 movies that take place from 2018 to
2021,
years,
essentially.
Yeah,
it's 2 years basically. If you ignore Aquaman, Shazam is 2019, and the Suicide Squad is 2021.
Yep.
That's
like they're just
3
rapid
years.
fire pumping them out.
That does not feel like enough time to build up what the MCU did. The MCU did it super slowly, and it worked because it happened by accident.
Right.
All of a sudden, people started to care because it was little dribbles here and there. It was never a plan to do this. And then, of course, that happening by accident created a whirlwind of problems of every movie now needing a cinematic universe.
Yeah, I feel like Aquaman was fine. I wish it was more. I wish it was better, and I wish it was shorter. Like, I wish it was kind of a tighter, more focused thing. Because when it is good, I feel like it's really good. Like, the fight scene stuff that we were talking about, the, like, Fast and Furious sort of thing. Get some good joke stuff.
Strangeland stuff is fantastic, too.
Yep, like, that stuff's really good.
On both sides.
Yep.
Both Jason Momoa being Stranger in Atlantis and Princess Mira being a stranger in the land world. Both sides of it is fantastic. And them both using excuses for the other one in their separate environments is great too. Like you said, the redheads line is a fantastic line.
Yeah, it's really good. What are your kind of final thoughts here?
It's pretty good. Like, it's pretty good in a dumb way. Like, it very much is what, like, for those of you who don't know, I had a lot of issues watching this movie, which we don't need to go into here.
Technical issues, to be clear.
Yes, I had technical issues watching this movie. So I ended up watching it in like 7 different sittings at like 15 minutes a pop, essentially.
Right.
So I enjoyed it, but it was definitely one of those things where it's like, it makes a pretty good popcorn movie.
Yeah.
Like, but I'm not invested in any of these people. Not a single one of them.
Well, and like, he wasn't in Justice League enough for you to be like, yes, finally, this dude is in his first solo movie. Like, oh yeah, here we go. And it's like, oh yeah, it was the drunk guy in Russia, something? I don't know.
Yes. I believe it was in Russia, yes, where he was helping those people out. But so, here is the fun part for you, Boston. Depending on when the writer's strike ends and this movie actually ends up coming out, we're right on the cusp of the 3rd season of the DCEU being ready to watch.
I didn't realize, I had remembered that there was a second Aquaman movie, and they're like, oh yeah, by the way, at the end of this year, there's a 3rd one. It's like, ugh.
No, it's the second one at the end of this year.
Oh, it's the second one. Okay. Yeah.
That is the last thing to come out on our 3rd block of DCEU is Aquaman 2.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because Black Adam is out, Shazam 2 is out, The Flash is now out,
right?
Blue Beetle is out right now, or being about to be out right now.
Yep.
And the final one is Shazam 2. Not Shazam 2, Aquaman 2.
Boy. We got more. We got a whole nother season of these things.
The question is well, you're going to learn your lesson from this season?
You know the answer is no. Because there's going to be one
100%.
good movie in here, and I'm like, I'm back, baby, let's go! DCEU!
So the worst part of this is if we're doing it in release order, then The Suicide Squad is the last movie we will watch.
Right.
And The Suicide Squad is a pretty solid movie.
I've heard it's pretty good, so that's dangerous for me.
Uh-huh. It's dangerous for me too, not just you.
I know, yeah, you have to watch them too.
Again.
Our listeners don't have to listen to them. They can just listen to us or watch the movie. They can just listen to us suffer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. Well,
but it's a perfectly fine, acceptable movie, I guess.
Right. But it could be more, and hopefully some of these other movies will be a little bit more.
Give me some jokes. Just give me. It's a good thing we're doing what we're doing next, because I'm hoping for a decent comedy movie.
I was gonna say, like, if any movie is gonna potentially be a comedy, it might be Shazam out of any of them.
Do I want to see who wrote it? Because I don't want to know. I don't know if I want to know who wrote it and if they have comedy chops or not.
Oh yeah, I don't. I want to just stumble into it accidentally and hope for the best. You know, critical misses.
Yeah, the way we do.
Yeah.
Apparently.
All right. On that note, thank you very much, everyone, for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.